Hey, what's going on? This is Melanie Fiona, and you're checking me out right here on Media Spotlight UK for the latest and greatest. Keep it locked.
This is Media Spotlight UK. I'm your host, Jay Bills, and I'm sitting here with the gorgeous, and I say that with emphasis, Melanie Fiona.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's a pleasure to be here. Obviously, this is not your first time in London, is it?
No.
So during your travels in London, what are the hotspots that you have to go to every time you come here?
I have to go to Primark. I'm putting it out there right now.
Five up top.
Okay?
Five up top.
Let me tell you something about a $5 shirt, okay? I'm about it. I'm about a $5 shirt. I like to just always check out the shops. Most times I actually don't really have a lot of downtime, so it's usually just trying to like see certain things. Like I still never been, on the Eye, which I really wanted to go on, and then I saw some lift that went across the river when I was driving in, and I was like, I want to do
the cable cars.
Yeah, I was like, I want to do all these. So like, to be honest, the things I always have to do are eat.
Yes.
And
most important
yeah,
feature.
and then just try to shop if I can and get wherever I can go. Where's the place? Oxford Street is always a good one because you can get everything you want.
I work local to there as well, so
There
I work
you
in the
go.
Euro store where they do the hats there. So if you're ever down on a visit down in Carnaby Street,
Okay,
give us a visit.
there it is.
You said about Primark as well. Like literally, I bought this from Primark yesterday.
What I'm
Like,
saying,
this
big
is
up
it.
Primark.
Like £10 jeans, £2.50 top.
So I'm talking
sorted.
about, why do
and
clothes...
the swag is nice.
And the
I
swag
feel.
is super nice. Why do clothes need to be $8,000? They just don't need to be.
That-
I can do a
that's-
lot with $8,000. 8,000 pounds even more.
You were born in Toronto,
Yes.
which I have to say I get a lot of love from Canadians, especially when they come and visit.
Big up, big up.
Now, would you say you're a sports person? Because I heard a lot about the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Toronto Raptors. Do you follow sports?
I do. I try to. I mean, I'm not like up on the stats or anything, but I love watching sports. I'll watch a basketball game. I'll watch a baseball game. I'll watch a football game. I'll watch everything.
How are the Raptors doing at the moment?
The Raptors were kicking ass last year.
Yeah?
We were like in there, but then we
Kind of.
we didn't pull it right out, but we did beat Brooklyn, which I can be like, that's big.
Now, to say the least, that you grow up around music at an early age. What's the culture like in Toronto in terms of what sort of music you were listening to? Because I know that you have a Caribbean influence as well. So tell us briefly your experience in Toronto before you started doing music.
Well, I'm born in Toronto. My parents are from Guyana, so like,
Oh, nice.
So the culture for me is very natural. Caribbean culture. Growing up, I had Caribbean friends, so that's not like it just ended when I was at home. I got to go out and go to my friend's house and experience that.
Nice.
African friends, European friends, Asian friends. So many different types of people in Toronto, and so that I think really influenced my view of the world and like how I approach people, what I want to appeal to for people, and just musically, my parents. They were all into soca, calypso, and soul music. That was
nice.
like what all we listened to. So, it went from like Bob Marley, Byron Lee and the Dragoneers, and then you got like, Sam Cooke and
Nice.
Patsy Cline. And like,
Nice.
I was a really little girl knowing these songs. And so,
Did you go to any of the like sort of old school like Lovers Rock raves and sort of
you know
the things
what?
like that?
I not till I was older, really,
Yeah.
to be honest. I when I was younger, it was really just like at home. But my parents were always spinning records. They were always, yes, I said records because we had a record player.
Records. It's not
And
about
it
iTunes.
wasn't
It's
about
literally before
iTunes.
the social media generation.
I remember being in the basement and watching my mom and dad play records and, dominoes and dancing, and just like what music meant to me was just like family and just like love. So that was a huge foundation for me. Till now, I still listen to my old soul records. That's like my go-to, and I have a record player with the Drifters and the Platters.
Wow. Old
so
school.
old
Thursday-
school.
Throwback Thursday.
Throw
for
it back
real.
Thursday. Throw it back every day.
Every day.
But yeah, I just fell in love with music at a really young age, and then growing up in North America, you just exposed to the pop brands of things. So I think it really gave me that old and new sound, which is like what you hear on my album. So.
Awesome. I have to talk about you and Drake, the Renaissance, back in the day. Now, obviously, you've had a rapport with Drake for a certain amount of time before you went solo. What's the cheekiest thing you ever seen Drake do? Because obviously, we've seen him for what he is, on screen all the time. But is there anything that we don't know? Is there any untold Drake stories that you may have known from your experience with him? Anything funny? Anything cheeky?
I don't know. He was always a cool dude. I mean, he just...
There was nothing out of the ordinary that he would do? He'd pick his nose in public?
No, none of that. I'll say this. He was always super talented. Like, always I always saw the potential in like his brilliance.
Right.
He was very witty, always very clever. So, you know, at a very young age, and you know, he was doing television. So I'm sure he built up that confidence and that ability to be that way. But
He did a kids show years ago, didn't he?
he used to be on a really popular show called Degrassi, which was a huge Canadian
I've heard
show.
of that, yes.
Yeah, and that's where he really started. But you know, he's great. Always been talented.
Now, obviously, now he's blown up so big at this stage. Would we ever see you like collaborating with Drake in the now stage of where he is?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. We every time we see each other, we're always like, "Yo, we got to do something," because we actually collabed on my last album. We did a song called "I've Been That Girl," but that was like behind the scenes. It wasn't your typical like singing rapper feature, which I think is like, you know, so expected. But yeah, I mean, I'm so down, and it's all love, and I'm so happy for him and his success and everything, and like, you know, it's all love. So I don't see why it couldn't happen.
Now with Drake as well, like he has recently reached over to our UK audience. I don't know if you heard that he was working with Skepta. It was at a recent festival called the Wireless Festival, brought Skepta on stage, and this is an artist that's been grinding for over 10 years and now, you know, has worked with him with Wizkid and Drake. Is there anybody in the UK that you have your eye on that you would love to collaborate with in the future, knowing that Drake has made that reach?
You know, I mean, when I first started, actually, it's funny because I loved her when I was growing up. Miss Dynamite, she actually jumped on a remix of one of my records.
Nice.
And, you know, she's super dope. I've always loved Miss Dynamite. But, like, the UK just has so many different sounds. I did a record with Tinchy Stryder, and, like, you know, I've had connects to
Tinchy
the UK.
Stryder?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
We were co-managed by Rock Nation, and it was like all love, and you know, I met him and we did a song called Let It Rain. It was awesome.
Okay.
You know, I love the UK market, and I love, you know, the music that comes out of here. I really like this girl right now who I've discovered. Her name's Now. Yeah, Nao. I discovered her music. She sings a dope song, and I love her voice. She like makes me feel like 90s R&B, like Brandy, and she's just super dope. So like, whether we collab or not, I just want to tell you you're awesome. So
okay. Obviously, having come out of a group, you're doing things solo. You know, you've been nominated for Grammys, which is amazing. You know, at such a young age. You know, and also now that you're going fully independent. Why did you decide that now is the right time for me to go, right, I'm happy with where I'm at, you know, you moved to LA, and you're just happy to do things independently? Because a lot of artists that go in a label might not necessarily get the creative freedom, but what was your mentality when you decided I want to go independent?
You know, it was just, like I said, it was an opportunity that was presented itself to me. I had the ability to put out 2 albums. I actually did win 2 Grammys, and you know, I'd done so many amazing things in my career. I really felt like I had all the experience and the tools that I needed to really, and the foundation to really just take my career into my own hands, and to, you know, continue to push on and continue to do things the way I wanted to do for my career. I'm fortunate for the opportunity with my major label that really set me up and gave me a great platform to be introduced to the world. But you know, I think in a time right now where everything is taking an independent space, everybody is an entrepreneur, everyone's doing EPs at this stage as well. Everybody's doing their own thing. I mean, from every business, from music to film to everything. So you know, it's an opportunity I wanted to take to kind of spread my wings and see what I can do. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Now, just before we go into a quick game, you're performing tonight.
Yes.
We're here at the O2 Academy
Yes,
Islington.
we
Now,
are.
what can fans expect from your shows? What you can expect tonight?
You can expect the songs you love and know, songs
Yes.
you don't know, new songs, some of my favorite songs,
Yes.
and then I think just overall a really good experience. I always like to tailor my shows differently for each audience and for each, you know, it's never like a cookie cutter show.
Okay.
And so you're going to get a little bit of everything from my albums, from the R&B to the hip hop to the soul to the reggae. But what it is also is just kind of like an emotional journey. I always like to take my fans and my audience on a journey with me. So it's never just like, here's a song, here's another song. I always love that interaction between the audience. So, you know, it's just a good time. It's an experience. It's not, I don't have a bunch of dancers and pyro and it's none of that. It's just raw music, live singing.
Awesome. We're going to go into a quick game just to find out what things you like.
Okay.
So don't be scared.
Okay.
It'll be all right. First off, trainers or heels?
Trainers.
Okay. Going to a concert or a festival?
Concert.
Okay. Hip hop and R&B parties or bashment parties?
Bashment parties.
Don't know the thing, boy. When you do a quick little wind up, nice thing. Okay. Dancing at a party or relaxing on a beach?
Relaxing on a beach.
Worst date you've ever been on?
Worst date I've ever.
Because I need to learn. I've been on plenty of worst dates myself.
Worst date I've ever been on. Oh, first of all, I don't really date per se, but worst date I ever been on was with a dude who was just way too pushy and way like a date for me is really just like a hangout. Like a date is not, that doesn't mean I'm interested in you yet.
Right.
So the worst date was a first date I went on, and homeboy was just way too pushy. He like went in for the kiss, and I was like, this is never gonna happen. You actually sucked at this whole date, so you would never get a kiss. And he was all like cocky, like, oh, you're gonna play hard to get on. Like, no, you actually just don't get this.
Okay.
So that's that.
All right. Okay. Favorite track on your iPod?
Favorite track on my iPod? Oh, right now?
Right now.
Yo, it's that Justin Bieber record.
Oh wow.
It's that
interesting.
Justin, the new one he just put out.
Yes.
The brand new
that's
one.
it,
Yeah.
that's
What
it.
do you mean? What do you mean?
One thing that ticks off Melanie Fiona.
Bullies. I don't like mean people at all.
Okay.
At all.
Okay. So you stand up to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing that you will want people to remember you by. So when you leave a legacy behind of your music, what's the one thing that you want people to remember you for?
Just like positive, good vibes and like real talent. That's it. I just want people to be like, yo, she had a great voice and she was a great person.
Melanie, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to
you.
you.
Pleasure.
If you could tell our audience where they can catch you on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, let them know.
Yeah, I'm at Melanie Fiona on every handle except for Snapchat, where I'm Felony Miona, where we keeps it all the way real.
Felony, no.
Felony. Oh, we get real, you know.
Done
Yeah.
no. This has been Media Spotlight UK, J Bills at the O2 Academy with Melanie Fiona, and we are out.